So, you're thinking about redoing your hardtop on your first gen 4Runner. Let's talk about it. First, I want to talk about why I decided to redo my hardtop and not go the soft topper route. Really, the big reason is noise. The other reason is security. Soft top isn't very secure. If you have any valuables inside, they can kind of just get out whatever they want to get out. The third reason is it's just more durable. It's going to be more durable. It's going to hold up a lot longer than a soft top. I still plan on getting a soft top simply because of its versatility. It's nice to be able to roll up the side panels and take the family out, go on a trail, go camping, what have you. But I like the durability of the hardtop. I think it is, it's much more quiet of a ride, and that's why I decided to do it. So I wanted to capture what happened. Yeah, there's 4 pumpkins now. What happened? Did you break it? Yeah, it's just an ant. So I wanted to capture this process and hopefully help some of you out there that have decided to take on this project as well. It did take a lot longer than we had thought. It is quite messy of a job, but overall, I think it was totally worth it. So without further ado, let's get started. So we are working, well, Mike is working on my hardtop for the 4Runner.
It's made by Toyota. That's one of the issues.
We got the windows out. It wasn't too bad on the rear windows. The side windows, we used a heat gun, combination of like plastic scrapers to kind of wedge as we went around. See, this is the aftermath. This is what we have to clean up. So these are the windows. Obviously the L trim's pretty rusty inside and out. Some rust holes that we're just gonna fill with 2-part epoxy. And this is what we use to get the rust off. Rust-Oleum Rust Dissolver Gel Formula. I've had this bottle for a while. I mean, there's a lot in here. You won't use a whole lot of it. So you just kind of spray it on where the rust is at. One thing I did notice, the tops of the windows have these, and I didn't order those. So I don't know, probably just gonna use silicone maybe, or just try to shove those in there later if I can find them online somewhere. Kind of combination of studs and or nuts that hold the rearmost windows on. I think it really depends on if the nuts are seized up on the studs or not, because sometimes it takes the studs out, sometimes it doesn't.
Last thing you want is seized nuts.
Yeah, you don't want these seized nuts. You don't want these nuts. You don't want seized nuts. So it's the next day.
He's in different clothes.
This is
plug.
This is one of my best friends, Michael Roberson from Beer Budget Motorsports channel on YouTube, Beer Budget Motorsports
and it's
on
just
YouTube.
as bad as this one.
And it's almost worst. Worst.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's 10 and we've already been drinking beer, so it's whatever.
We had breakfast beer though.
Breakfast beer. Yeah, we didn't have much to eat, so we had to get some sustenance.
It's not that good.
It's not really good.
That's weird.
Tastes like
it has a nutritional value.
It does. It does. Oh yeah, there it is. Finally useful for once in his life. I guess we're just gonna get everything clean, so maybe we'll set the camera up and do a time lapse of that. Okay, so we tried Goo Gun, we've tried acetone, and overall what ends up happening is it makes the sealant super gooey and messy like paint, and it's like as soon as you start wiping some off, it's like it comes back immediately. What I would recommend, just kind of take your thumb and just drag it down. You're just kind of balling it up so you get the majority of it off.
Ballin'.
Ballin'. There's my booger.
Nope.
So yeah, you get the booger off, and then you can go back in with some acetone to clean off like any of the staining from the butyl rubber. So the rearmost window is like a foam tape, and it's in a little bit of a channel, kind of the same story. Once you get it started, you can just sort of peel it off. Now we don't have that kind of tape, so we're probably just going to use some silicone and just stick the window on. It's okay, because we took 35 pounds worth of rear windshield motor, wiper motor out of it.
Finest right there.
Look how big that shit is. It is really probably like 15 pounds.
We got
mine look worse than yours for some reason, even though you've been doing most of the dirty shit.
Well, you had to do the thing.
You only used half a jug. Oh, I did. Yeah, I fingered it. I fingered it with my thumb. It's always good to use a thumb, you know, especially when you're working from behind back here. Yeah, Make sure you have acetone because you got butyl rubber on the actual side windows, which we're going to go back in with silicone because this thing, before I ever do it again, it's going to a landfill. This right here was foam tape backed with something that I would assume is similar to butyl rubber. Yeah, there's some down there. Is there some right here? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, look how sticky that.
Don't do it.
This is what's in there. Just not sticky on the other side, just only sticky on the side that's actually touching the shell. But when you peel it off, I was using little flat razor, 1/4 inch wide. And you just kind of go through a little channel there, scrape, get the tape off, the foam tape off as best you can. And then we use the goo stuff. Once we got the majority of it off, we did that and a plastic brush and scrubbed the actual channel where the foam went in, wiped, did it again, wiped, and then we went through and cleaned it with acetone. And that was the best way to do it. The inside is gonna get dirty. His side looks better than mine.
It's because I took care of mine.
Yeah. Fuck you. So yeah, this side is, I think most of that will probably come off with some kind of strong degreaser or alcohol, which I don't have alcohol, but I've got acetone and I just don't want to melt the whatever this paint is on the inside. It's probably a gel coat. This headliner in here, it's got these pieces kind of screwed down, the trim pieces, fine. Take those off and I notice it's glued on the inside. So I mean, I guess I could just rip this off and try to pressure wash the shit off, but I think it looks okay for right now. And I want to do some like EVA decking foam, maybe some like brown teak or gray teak look to it, and just put that in there, kind of cut to fit, and then put these back on. That's future plans, but for today, we just got to spray some bed liner on this piece of shit. We got Raptor Tough Protective Coating. I got 4 bottles of it. I hope that's enough. ChatGPT said it was. This screws straight to the actual sprayer, which I've been told by this guy that you have to, it works well, but you got to throw the gun away when you're done. So throw the gun away. I gotta, oh, well that's great. That's not the right fitting I need. Anyways, got to figure out how to get this connected to my air compressor, which is just a pancake air compressor. I hope it's enough. So 8 ounces of hardener per bottle. This bottle screws right to the gun. Spray it till it runs out, start it over again. I mean, I don't think that we're gonna run through 4 bottles on this thing. I got some rolls of paper. We can mask it off a little bit and just try to keep it at a more of a downward angle. I got the window seals for the sliding glass from pretty much the only guy that makes them, as far as I know. Breakbeat Goods. First generation 84 to 89 rear passenger sliding window runs. Doesn't include a lot of the,
It's cool.
A lot of the other seals. They gave me a little sticker. So now I guess pressure wash it, carry it into the yard, put it on some sawhorses, but I have a lot of soap that we can put in my foam cannon and we'll get it cleaned up. I'm wondering if we should sand it a little bit before we clean it.
Do you have like a scuff pad, like a Scotch-Brite?
Well, I got an orbital sander with like 320,
yeah.
just because the
work.
top is so rough. But it's like,
Boy, look how nice that is. It's also off the ground. You've got a 4-wheel drive. Nobody's gonna see the top. You're gonna see the top? When the hell are you gonna see
when I'm cleaning it,
Oh, jeez.
I want it to look nice because, well, I need it to seal good because I want to put a rack on this thing eventually, so I'm going to drill holes through it. I like a nice rack, big rack. This is brought to you by Lone River. It's not really, but it's brought to you by Lone River Ranch Water because, yeah, Mike crushing those. He's very thirsty. He's thirsty. They are good though. I do have like some kind of Scotch-Brite stuff, but I feel like that's going to like get hung up in those fibers. What do you think?
Do a test spot.
Yeah.
What is it, 40 years of gunk off of it. It's actually coming out pretty nice, not gonna lie. Kinda like it. Ryan, hard at work, very hard at work. He may be degreeless. He knows some work.
Okay, so we've got it all cleaned up. Right now we're just drying it off. Got a little spot right there that we have to repair with some 2-part filler meant for fiberglass. I forget the name of it, but I'll get a little shot of that. It's pretty clean, and Mike is doing a great job. He knows how to blow a top. He knows how to give a good blow job. So stuff that we're going to use for the top, if you have any areas where you need to fill or repair, SMC hard set filler from Polyvance Advanced Polymer Repair. Stuff is great on anything fiberglass related that has a gel coat or anywhere there's a crack. This is your stuff because it's also very easy to sand. It's also very strong hold, so if anything's cracked, it'll hold it really well. It's a little expensive, but it is 100% worth it. You don't use a whole lot and it stays relatively fresh in storage. Just make sure the caps are on tight. So we're on day 5.
Feels like it.
Feels like it. Heat gun is your best friend in this project. Right now he's removing the old weather stripping, whatever you want to call it, from the quarter glass. That was a little ant. Filled in the bad spot on the hard top. Let's go look at it. So, got that filler in there. Gonna let it cure. Then we'll sand that smooth. But other than that, we're gonna mask off the mating areas where the glass actually fits up. Around in here, down in here. Don't want any coating going there because we need it to be on the actual fiberglass. Make sure it truly adheres to that and not some substrate right below it. I'm gonna go to the store, probably get more beer. I need to go get some trim black paint for these windows and trim pieces because I feel like that'll probably look the best and be the easiest. What do you think? It's a damn good idea.
Great idea.
Great idea.
Unbelievable idea.
Unbelievable idea. So I'm gonna go to the store and get that, and I'll be back. Do you need anything?
Literally be right here.
You want anything? Food? We'll be back.
All right, so explain to the person that's going to watch this video what you just did here.
I filled this area and then I ruined it. Basically just trying to get rid of most of that low spot. The bed liner, will remove a lot of that.
Oh, for sure. Since this will be rhino lined, we don't have to go too crazy on prep other than just making sure that it'll definitely stick. Shouldn't be a big issue. What do we got left? We got to
mask that side.
Gotta mask that side, correct.
And I thought maybe get some cardboard and shove it up in here or something.
Okay, so a little more masking and then we're ready to let it eat then. All right. Let's get. Looks like we got ourselves a painter here. Damn near professional, look at him.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So what we did was we filled in that little crack. When we first started spraying it, it looks kind of funky, but it looks like it's coming out good. So what do we got the air pressure at? All right, so it's about 60 PSI, and I feel like that's where it needs to be in order to come out right.
This stuff goes a long way. I got 4 bottles of it. When you first open it up, it looks kind of clumpy. Don't worry about that. You add the hardener and shake it for 2 minutes. Mike shook it like a Polaroid picture. And this is 1 bottle, pretty much cover the entire thing. The top, once you go to start spraying it, it doesn't flow as well as it does on the side. So make sure you're prepared. As soon as you switch to the side, it's gonna flow a lot better. So don't be too close, don't spray it too heavy. Make sure you keep moving. The sides are pretty much done. I wanna kinda go over the top a little bit heavier because that's where it's gonna get most of the sun and make sure we have a lot of coverage there. But let's do a little test fire here. Oh, don't do that. It came out of the hole.
That's what she said.
Yeah, bloopers. You wanna do some? This guy used to paint professionally. I did not. He's also taller and more handsome than me, and he's got a juicy butt, or so I hear. Poo poo pee pee caca doo doo. I was recording that time. Fuck. Yeah, they're already starting to fade. A little streaky right now, but should come out. Somebody sprayed it really heavy in this one spot. I don't know who that was. I didn't do that. It wasn't me. All right, guys, so it is Sunday morning. We did not finish top last night. We got it all coated, but we ran into issues with the windows just being hard to clean, get this adhesive off. So that's what we're working on now, is trying to get them as clean as possible because we're gonna use window silicone RTV to put them back in. Probably is the wrong way of doing it, but I would imagine silicone needs to be, surface needs to be pretty clean for it to stick onto usually. You want to make sure it's as clean as possible. So Mike is
Here.
still here and he's cleaning up this frame. We're going to pull the seals out and pressure wash it, paint it with some heavy duty bumper trim paint that we found at AutoZone yesterday. What did the guy say? 700? It's gonna cost him about 700 to get a new alternator.
3 plus 3, that's 700.
The other thing I'm working on is these L trims. They've got holes in them, rust holes, and it's obviously they're right behind the brackets, so you get rust holes right in there because probably leaves and moisture kind of hangs out back there. So what I'm planning on doing is just taping the face where the holes are at. Backside, I'm gonna use some of this hard set filler here. Just glob it on the back, make sure the holes are all sealed up, and on the front, maybe just do a little sanding. There you guys go, a little fart. So yeah, we're gonna spray these with the bed liner as well. A good amount on the front, a little bit on the back to make sure that they never rust again, because they will surely keep rusting if I don't do something like that. I've got that trim paint and I would use it on this, but they'd have to be real smooth and perfect. And these on the outside are pretty crusty. We're kind of limited on time. It's Sunday. We got until about 1 o'clock before Mike has to leave. And obviously I need his help getting this stuff on. So I'm not gonna be going too crazy with trying to make these perfect. They just need to be functional because, and they need to look better than they do right now, and they will. And that's the point. Good? Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay, so if you put this bright blue masking tape on the other side, it prevents the epoxy from going through and being all globby on the other side. It also gives it kind of a bridge to sit on while it cures. The other part of it is it helps you see where the holes are at, because you can see blue. Thought that was kind of cool. You know exactly where you need to put the epoxy, and that's what I'm gonna do. This is kind of what we've been doing to get the glass clean. Spraying it down with this Goo Gone, letting it sit for a while. It softens up that old adhesive, makes it a lot easier to get off, and he's just been using a plastic scraper like this so it doesn't scratch the etching on the glass. I guess it's like etching, right? Something like some kind of weird paint. The factory tint with the little dots. You don't want to scratch that stuff up, so plastic is a must for that. Right now we're getting ready to pressure wash this piece of glass that he finished. Get it nice and soapy, make sure we get all the oils and stuff from the Goo Gone. This is the slider frame, just been painted with that heavy duty roll cage paint, 250 degree Fahrenheit. It's basically like the best paint you can use for anything like this because it's way more tough than most things. So this is what we're using, roll bar and chassis paint. This is up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And I did satin black. It's a really nice finish, but this was about 15 bucks at AutoZone. So it's not cheap, but it lays down really well. And on something like this, if you don't want to worry about it, you'll have plenty left over to do your actual roll bar if you want to, which I plan on doing that.
So we were all excited about that paint. Come to find out, that spray can paint, come to find out, worthless, ever to dry. So what we're doing is we're gonna spray the backs of these. We're gonna spray them fairly light. They don't need to be crazy. And then, but this should help keep everything from rusting. Should encapsulate everything. And we've just, we've taped off the holes just so the screws will fit in without having to do any major work. Now we just need to let that dry for a little bit. Let me go show you what we did over here. All right, so we went ahead and painted these, taped them off, and we painted them with that same paint that we used on the track, and it's really freaking tacky, and we did it like a half an hour ago. I don't understand why it's so tacky. I think we might have got like a really old can or something. The only reason it's like that is because we're on a time crunch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have worked out.
I mean, it does give us time to drink beer, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we may as well. Drink until our heart's content.
We got these glow-in-the-dark Mickey Mouse ghosts.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Layla.
Very nice.
Got these beautiful flowers blooming here.
Look at the frickin' balls on that thing.
God, those are some beautiful balls.
Well, We were gonna try to rhino line this styrofoam cooler to see how long it would last, but it looks like it actually has like a chemical reaction to it.
I kind of figured some spray paints will melt styrofoam.
And the last thing we want to do is have some sort of chemical bond to our beer. So these have dried, sort of, not really, but we're impatient. So we're gonna flip these over, paint the top side of them. And as we were waiting for those to dry, we went ahead and put this stuff on. This was that stuff we bought from Home Depot, like just some foam. I don't know what I did with the foam, but it's just like that. I think this is, what was this, 3/8? 3/8, 7/16 foam. Hopefully hold everything in. And then we'll put these back on here in just a minute. It's finally starting to tack up. See how this is? Like, anybody can do this. If you got, you know, an Amazon box and another box and another box and Play-Doh, I mean, come on. If you have a Yankee candle box, use it to paint. It's what they were made for. After you take the candles out, of course. We're a couple of degreeless rednecks, kind of starting to figure out what we're doing. We figured out what we're doing's wrong, but we at least know what we're doing. Beautiful stroke. He has just a beautiful stroke. Probably won't even be able to put this on YouTube because it's damn near porn. All right, now we just need that to dry for 4 to 6 days. And then we can probably screw it up trying to put it back on. So hopefully it won't rain until Friday, and then we'll put all this stuff on Saturday after we dry it all off.
What's going on, guys? Quick update. Got the driver's side window in. Currently got it clamped on in 4 separate places using DeWalt clamps and then 1 steel clamp here. Light amount of pressure on that one because I didn't want to dent the metal trim. I used Max black silicone adhesive sealant. It's not what was in there. What was in there before is some kind of butyl rubber. But it says it's good for windshields, electrical connections, body seam seals, auto trim, all kinds of stuff. So did about an 1/8 to 3/16 wide bead, squiggly line all the way around. Clamped it down. So far it looks like it's sealing pretty good, and I think that was just enough to make sure that it wasn't going to squish out like a terrible amount. If you do decide to go back in with butyl rubber, a place you can get it from is McMaster Car. You're going to want probably 1/4 inch wide, get enough obviously to cover around the entire window. The good thing about butyl rubber is it's very, very sticky. It's going to set up almost immediately. The downside is if you ever have to take it out again, it's super, super messy to clean up. Silicone's not much better. Silicone's more of a modern day solution, I think. These windows, they've got their own gutter up here. You've got all this tracking in the tops of the windows from stuff from making its way in, basically. There's a little seal that is supposed to go back in here. I don't have it. It didn't come with the kit. I kind of think maybe I found the part number on Yoshi Parts. That's what I use because I got good diagrams. Cross-referenced it on Google and wasn't able to really find anything. In the video for Breakbeat Goods, they do mention it. They're like, yeah, just use this special glue that they were using in the video to glue it back on or whatever. My stuff was super crusty. It was in bad shape. I think I'm just gonna run without it. If I do notice an issue with it not being there, I think the next best thing is to do a raw welt kind of job and just pump some silicone up in this crack here and do a little seam all the way down the back side, spray it, and then wipe it away with my thumb just to create like a little gasket around there. And that should do fine. I mean, ultimately, I just want the top to be functional and I wanted it to stop degrading in the sun because it was basically, at that point, it was just raw fiberglass. And when we went to clean it, we were drying it, getting it ready, it was actually, you could see the stuff flying around in the air, which probably took 10 years off our life. And that's perfectly fine because that's what we do, baby. So the other window frame is still drying. I painted it over an hour ago. It's still kind of tacky. That roll bar paint, it just takes a while for it to cure. We'll see how durable it is. It's supposed to be fairly durable. I know Mike says he's used it quite a bit in the past. Not gonna be able to get this window done. Big thing is getting it done before Friday when the rain comes. If not, I'm throwing a tarp over this bad boy, I guess. All right, guys, so today marks the day we finish up with this damn thing. So driver's side is done, and as promised, I wanted to show you a little trick that I found to getting these seals to sit flush. They have to sit flush inside of the frame. So let's check that out. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with the minute details, but essentially what you're gonna do, this is what the end of the seal looks like. Now if you push it straight down in there, what you'll find is these edges here don't want to sit inside of the steel frame. Instead of using something to pry the edges and try to push them down in there, is if you take the center and pull it up like that, like a little mushroom, kind of looks like, what does that look like to you? Yeah, so looks like that. Kind of shove it down in the frame. Okay, so a quick shot. Again, tuck that back in there. And you're just gonna wanna take this tapered end. This is the bottom of the window frame seal, bottom window frame seal, and just kind of tuck it in there. And you're just gonna keep repeating that. Pull up on that center piece, tuck in the side pieces, keep doing that all the way down. And that just really helps that seal sit nice and flush. Here's what it looks like if you don't do that. So you take this, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna squish it. It's full of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just gonna put it in there, it'll pop right in. Just try to shove it in there. And this is what happens. See this lip sticking out? Push all you want. Get an Allen wrench in there, butter knife, do whatever you want. It just will not go in as good as the way I just showed you. So remember that, and that will help you. Pro tip, I'm the last person to give you professional advice. Do the top first, probably what it says in the instructions. Somebody will correct me in the comments. Bottom next, and do the frontmost part last, a little short piece last. You're going clockwise, just go clockwise. So start in this corner here with the big seal, the top seal, work your way down. Make sure, because there's like a little incision, probably not on here, but there's a little incision right here on this piece and on the lower piece that kind of fit into the channel, and that's kind of your start. So just wedge that in there, work your way down, make sure this wedge is in there nice and tight, tuck that seal all the way in, and then when you get to the end, push the corner in first, and then work it down the rest of the way till about right here, and everything will lay flat. One more piece. Last thing you want to do before putting everything back together is just make sure none of the seals are folded over on themselves. Okay, let's put this thing together somewhere over here. While it's good to have two people to do this, you can do it alone, and I'm going to show you how. What I found is doing the larger piece of glass first makes it a lot easier. You're going to make sure you do it on the correct side, which is going to be the largest piece of glass is going on the inside of the curve. I've got my 2 screws for my center divider here. Let's set that over here out of the way. You're going to take the glass, push it down into the seal, have it somewhere about in the middle. I've got this piece of squishy foam here. This is ideal. Now, if you don't have that big blanket folded over several times, it'd be best. Something soft in case the glass falls, and you're also standing on your frame, so you don't want to damage your frame, especially if you just painted it. The other thing is you've got these tabs here. Make sure these are always up, because if you face them down, obvious reasons, you're going to bend them up, you're going to damage them. Don't cut your hands on them because they are a little sharp. And I just pick up, and that's pretty much it. So that piece is done. Make sure everything is seating properly. Looks good. Next thing I like to do is I like to put that center divider in. That's what I did on the last window. It seemed to help out a lot. They say the squeegee faces the back, is I'll angle it and just kind of slide it into place so I don't scratch the trim trying to pop it in, just like so. And you're going to want to check to make sure your holes are lining up, and they're not.
Come on, man.
Sometimes a rubber seal is kind of in the way of where the hole would be for the screw, and there's my hole. So then I'll take one of those screws, and I'll probably do this side. I'll go ahead and install one of the screws, not both, because you still need to pull the glass apart. But what this will do, it kind of helps keep the current glass in place. I'm gonna slide this guy down, sliding really nice. It's a really good product once you figure out how to use it. Next thing we're gonna do is the little piece of glass. Same deal as last time. Gonna shove that in there about midway. Pick it up, put your feet on it. You don't have to really muscle it too hard. Check window operation, everything's sliding smooth. There's probably going to be some spots that aren't perfect, and you'll have to work with them a little bit. One more very important thing, the L trim, don't forget that, because you will not be able to get it in if you glue the window on. Make sure it's kind of snug up to the glass, both this way and this way. Now it's time to clean it and get it put in. So if you're doing this alone, what I recommend, get a couple pieces of duct tape. Make sure you ruin it when you pull it off. Stick it to the roof. really good and just kind of stick it up there, out of the way, somewhere where it's out of the way. And that'll allow you to get the window stuck on there with the adhesive and also free up your hands to be able to get some clamps and clamp the window on. So the surface is clean. Right now I've got the windows opened so that I can put clamps there, there, and there, 4 corners, because the frame of it itself, once you clamp the corners down, it'll really push it the rest of the way on the flat sides. Stevie is here helping me, by the way. Say hi. Stevie got tape? Oh, sticky tape, huh? Okay, so we're doing a squiggly line. Say heavy focus on the top here. Make sure you have plenty of bugs flying in your face too. That makes everything a lot better. For some reason, gnats always want to fly in your face when you least need it. But it's important to stay focused. And I'll glue these gnats right in this window. I don't give a damn.
Nice.
All right, so we're checking our silicone. We're looking for thin spots, especially up there on top. Everything's nice and thick up there. Now it's time to stick the window on. Window's open. Be mindful of your alignment. I like to go in top first and then bottom. Then we're gonna take our tape because we're lonely, lonely boys. We got no friends. Our friends are working on their own projects right now. You're no longer important anymore. Just kidding. You're checking your space under here as well. I pushed mine kind of tighter up since I don't have that rubber seal up there anymore. I figured the closer the gap, if I need to put silicone in there and around the back, I can. Make sure that tape's holding on good. And we're gonna grab our clamps. Just kind of adjust it because it's going to be pretty gooey for a while. Go ahead and once you get the clamps in place, take this tape off because duct tape will leave marks on your paint and on your windows. You have to be removing it with adhesive remover, and I don't know about you, but I'm tired of using that shit. There you go. Make sure you don't run into this. Make sure everything's nice and tight. You're going to want to leave this stuff to set overnight if possible. This particular sealant that I'm using here, this Max stuff, even after about an hour to 2 hours, it was still tacky at like 2 hours. It was still soft. I could kind of mush it, move it around. It wasn't coming off on my finger, but it was still soft. So I just left the clamps on overnight, came out in the morning to go to work, popped them off. I gave it a good tug. You want to give it a good pull before you drive it, obviously. Make sure nothing's going to come off. And we're done. So that, in a nutshell, is how you redo your 4Runner hardtop. It is not fun, not for the faint of heart. It's gonna take longer than you expect, even if you've got experience with working on cars. It's just a lot of cleaning. The paint that we used took a while to dry. It's a lot of sitting around waiting for stuff to cure up, figuring out how to put the window seals in. If you are doing your own hardtop, I hope this video helps you along the way. I know I learned a lot. That's what this channel is all about. Again, this is Degreeless Engineering, a channel where we engineer using experience. Thanks for watching.